Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? This is Chief Doomsday here, and yeah, we're doing a little Twitch streaming, having some fun. Gonna try a little something new, Gonna do a little experimenting tonight, and then later on I might do a little bit of DJing as well. But during the pandemic time, I used to do a sort of music video show, if you will, back on YouTube. I would put together a bunch of music videos from friends of mine, kind of string them all together, and share them online. And yeah, it was a nightmare in terms of DMCA stuff, but it was kind of fun to do anyway. So I figured it might be kind of fun to do it on the Twitch stream. Anybody who catches it live, that's awesome. And if stuff gets copyright struck, gets muted later on, whatever. Such is life. So I figured I'd go ahead and do tonight's episode by focusing on a little bit of work that I did with a good friend of mine. This was a guy that came up in Austin, city that I was born and raised in, and his name is Mirage the Great. Mirage has been performing for a very long time. I myself have been performing professionally for somewhere between 20-25 years. And before I was performing, he was recording, releasing music, and performing. So if that gives you any sort of perspective as far as like dues paid and all that good stuff, he's definitely done that many times over. So what I'm sharing with everybody tonight is a collection of music videos that he and I did together and a documentary. Basically, he would collect the footage for everything, and then he hit me up, and I got everything together in terms of his footage and did the editing work on the back end. Took the ideas that he had, and we put together these music videos. And the work that we did putting together the music videos sort of led towards us working on the documentary. So I'm realizing now as I got started, I forgot my notes. Give me 1 second, I'm going to grab my notes. Right on. Let's hear it for making mistakes one time. Okay. For the first video, this is a little track that he's got called Till the End. And this was the first thing that he and I worked on together. He basically reached out to me, and it was a general sort of ask, I got this footage, I want to make a video for this track, I've seen some of the stuff that you've done, can you help me out? So, this was sort of the interview, if you will. Mirage was the guy sitting behind the big desk, I was the potential client, and yeah, we got together, and we saw what we could do. So this is Till the End. Switch over here to the music video view, and we're going to get that queued up, and you'll see that play shortly.
You think he does not know that you are more than you suggest, but he does nothing for you. Nothing.
Because I'm the one y'all need to be worried about. Partner.
Yo, I'm simply trying to be more, should I say better? Bottom line, I'm trying to get it together. Because the hindsight is 2020, though I strive for perfection. The mistakes are plenty, but I'm willing to admit it. That's the first step, and I'm not comfortable with it. That's the worst step. Obstacles are really only opportunities. I adapt and change, but still I stay true to me. Growing pain, still I transition beautifully. No apologies to who don't like the newer me. It's about the expansion, not the excuses. You ain't about that, it's useless. I shoot the deuces. Prepare for the future by the past I live. Talking about lessons, not about how fast I live. Get the worst, but still it's the best I give. Never quit, I find positive and negative. But that ain't always real. I got listeners worldwide with no types of deal. If I go through it, then I'ma grow through it. Keep it simple, but there is a little more to it. I had it, I lost it, and then I got it back. And any hustler truth don't know about that. This is deep in my chest, you can't doubt that. The flow mystical, homie, is gon' bounce back.
I wanted to pause real quick and just make a comment here. The first thing that really caught me when I was working on this video for him was the location. I kind of dug this path with the nature in it. And so what we wanted to do was take that look and sort of put, I don't want to be pretentious and say cinematic, but you know, we sort of wanted to change the color scheme just a little bit so that the natural greens and the blues of the sky and the wood, the browns of the wood, all that stuff, we kind of gave it sort of a red tint. And that red tint, in my opinion, sort of changes the mood of everything. So, yeah, I'll let the video continue moving forward.
This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little antisocial, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and will defend. Never thought to stop this until the end. This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little antisocial, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and will defend. Never thought to stop this until the end. I'm just hoping that the life I live can maybe equal to the life I give. And no matter what I get back, bottom line, it won't change facts. That I'm a man and I'ma stand up straight. Do it now, ain't no reason to wait. So gon' tell me what I ain't gon' do so I can make a damn fool of you. Yeah, this is not a game or a contest. This is life, not a sprint, it's a conquest. You only get credit when you complete the course. I can't just be, I gotta be with force.
Jump back in with a comment here again. There's a few moments in this video where if I could take it back, do it all over, I'd sort of work on where it washes out a little bit. You know, I was stepping out of my comfort zone as well, trying not to just be in a rut and do the same old things. I like the ideas that Mirage had in terms of what he wanted to see as, or what he wanted to see from me as an editor. So in that, trying to step out of my comfort zone with his guidance, I also sort of tried to step out of the comfort zone with no real frame of reference. So I was messing around with color temperature, brightness, contrast, and just trying to, you know, switch up the image a little bit. But yeah, where it washes out, kind of wish I had a do-over on that. But, you know, I stand behind the work regardless. Continuing.
Nope, this ain't nothing accidental. Choice, you can have the mic or the mental. This is more about the actual, not potential. No hearsay, Mirage is influential. No competition, I'm shadow boxing, racing myself, pacing myself. This is a fishing pole, not a plate of fish. Only my real folk can really understand that. Chicken soup for your soul over trill beats. Cool but my revolutionary heartbeats. Opportunity don't knock, build another door. You must preserve the core and then you go for more. This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little antisocial, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and will defend. Never thought to stop this until the end. This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little antisocial, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and we'll defend. Never thought to stop this, it's till the end. I was built for this, constructed in my DNA. Trying to get a few chips, Frito-Lay. Got the influence of great men all in me. Plus I'm repping my ancestors, they all sent me. So, how could I leave my mission unfulfilled? That ain't my pedigree, that ain't at all trill. Gotta live, not exist, gotta go get it. I'm Percy Miller, 96, no limits. I'm Mike Tyson, 86, no gimmicks. I'm Souls of Mischief, 93 till infinite. Till I do it, it's all hypothetical. But when I do it, it's all unforgettable. Until that thick chick get up and sing a tune, I'ma stand tall, do what I gotta do. Gone hate, that's just fuel in the tank. I've accepted what it is, I just am what you ain't. That's real. It's oxygen you breathing, you needin', what do you believe in? Never entertain down or compromise your freedom. Never think about joining when you can beat them. Hold up. Never think about joining when you can beat them. Right. And never entertain doubt or compromise your freedom. This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little anti-social, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and will defend. Never thought to stop this until the end. This is not a game, but I'm trying to win. A little anti-social, I ain't trying to blend. What I live, I die for and will defend. Never thought to stop this until the end.
Partner.
Yeah, let's hear it one time from Mirage. Right on, right on. Hell yeah. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move forward here. By the way, I can't tell if anybody's tuning in or not. I haven't figured that out on OBS yet. But feel free to say something. Say what up. I think I got the chat set up to where it'll pop up on the screen. So, you know, at least you'll get to see yourself on the chat. That being said, we're going to move forward to the next video here. Oh, wait. I got to give props to everybody on that track. Till the End. Of course, written by Mirage the Great. It was produced by Trill Gates, filmed by the Thompson brothers, and Mirage took the director's credit on that one as well. Of course, all these videos I'm sharing tonight were edited by me. That is the common thread for tonight's content. So, we got that first one under our belt, you know, and from there, we decided that we sort of wanted to work on the series. I'm on the bottom right of that video, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little chyron for the amelioration collection. And that was what Mirage was calling this particular set of videos. At least the first stuff that we were working on. So that was released on May 14th of 2016. We move a few months down the road, and it gets to be October. I guess it would have been September when he reached out to me. He had some footage for another video. And for this video, he had a couple of specifics. He wanted to have the sort of white bars on the top and bottom. His frame of reference was Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z with UGK. Excuse me. But yeah, those black bars that usually are on a widescreen video. Mirage wanted some white bars on his. So I had to figure that out. That was kind of interesting to do. That's one that, again, in hindsight, I think I would go about it a different way. But you live, you learn. The other thing that he wanted on this one, which was cool, he wanted to have a whole bunch of cameos in the video. During the chorus, there's a sing-songy sort of part. And they mention, "They wrong, bruh. They wrong, bruh." That's how the chorus sort of goes. So during that chorus, he had a whole bunch of different levels of footage. And I was wanting to integrate everybody, make sure that everybody gets used. So there were a bunch of people I knew, a bunch of Mirage's friends, and yeah, you know, just a bunch of people from the Central Texas music scene. So this is They Wrong, Bruh by Mirage the Great, produced by Arson Optics. And this video was shot by 2L's Filmworks. And once again, directed by Mirage and edited by myself. So here we go. I gotta pause it because immediately you can see the aspect ratio is off. Yeah, this is me trying to do those white bars. So forgive me for having those bars on the side from my background. Yeah, we're just gonna have to live with that. Let's move forward with the video.
I don't like you like that. I don't like you enough to get you to help you with a promotion.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
So I stand for something. I just want to be a black man on the day to day. I just want to live.
Yeah.
But bottom line, can I really live? Oh, but I'm wrong.
No, they wrong. They wrong. You right.
They wrong.
They wrong.
You feel me?
They wrong, bro. They wrong, bro.
Stepped up, talked that, but they kept up. Ooh, they self-blasphemy, thinking they affect us. Oh no, it don't stop. Hustle be on tip top. I'm more like fresh kicks, you more like flip-flops. You leisure on beach mode, I'm Marshawn on beast mode. Now much to say, I'd rather do quarterback, I'm so throw steadily. My pedigree don't mix with what don't better me. Keep haters in my rear view, keep the good out ahead of me. Chief on amped up, these punk boys can't stand us. Y'all fake, we real, keep quiet to get jammed up. Y'all G's on Facebook, in real life y'all can't look. So simple, translucent, read y'all like a damn book. Your move show you new to this, my move show I'm true to this. Started small and I grew with this, ain't much that y'all can't do with this. Tipping them, flipping them, breaking them off. Texas I'm from, I ride from the south. Y'all gotta know what I'm talking about. I do it, no doubt. They thinking this a game.
They wrong, bro.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bro.
Get out of line in it's on.
They wrong, bro.
They probably think it's just a song.
They wrong, bro.
They thinking this a game.
They wrong, bro.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bro.
Get out of line in it's on.
They wrong, bro.
They probably think it's just a song.
They wrong, bro.
I'm expanding, still standing, a lifestyle. I am branding, y'all playing games, backgammon, trying hard, but ain't jamming. These rappers are trivial, not even a factor. I call them Dolomites. What's that? Bad actors. They need to get their shit together. At my worst, I'm still better. Quiet leader, trendsetter, aka go-getter. Know about it or wish you did. Notorious, I do it big. Understand me clearly.
Pardon me for interrupting. The performances that he does in the parking garage, that's some of my favorite footage that Mirage has gotten of himself. I really just dig the quality of that footage. I like what he was doing performance-wise. It had a really nice look to it. So yeah, just adding my 2 cents. Let's get back to the video.
Me wrong, I split with. This be that true speak, that trill talk, that real heat. 5 dozen, spit flame, AO, kill beats, correct them, direct them. It's clear I'm not playing. Think that they call bluff, I Bobby Boucher them. This be that propane, that fire, that straight flame. Y'all cats can't maintain, it's so lame, it's insane. If y'all know nothing else, one thing's for certain, homie. I'm gonna be putting in work until they put that dirt on me. They thinking it's a game.
They wrong, bro.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bro.
Get out of line in it's on.
They wrong, bro.
They probably think it's just a song.
They wrong, bro.
They thinking it's a game.
They wrong, bro.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bro.
Get out for longevity. I think they should retire, man. It's like they speaking foreign. I can't do nothing for them. They talk that shit louder. I simply ignore them. They wrong like police doing folk harm. But I'm right like them folk taking up arms. Got no love for these jokers, they hate and provoke us. The rich get rich, the poor get broker. Yup, it's the same old story. One get the money, the other get the glory. Y'all can be stars, I'm inspirational. This is timeless, effects are generational. Mind of a mogul, heart of an artist. Hustle cause I have to, I'ma shine regardless. Not because of jewels on my neck and my wrist. Open up your ears, peep the jewels that I spit, you know. They thinking it's a game.
They wrong, bruh.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bruh.
Get out of line and it's on.
They wrong, bruh.
They probably think it's just a song.
They wrong, bruh.
They thinking it's a game.
They wrong, bruh.
Thinking they fresh but quite lame.
They wrong, bruh.
Get out of line and it's on.
They wrong, bruh.
They probably think it's just a song.
They wrong, bruh. 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 They wrong, bruh.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's hear it for They Wrong, Bruh. All right. Moving forward. Before I move forward, I really dig how that video has so many cameos on it. I'm horrible at remembering stuff, but like I saw Doris Miller Auditorium in there. The homie Doug Mecca from Hip Hop Mecca. Saw Chef Dose in there. Saw KB the Bubonic. I think I saw Arson Optics in there. Saw one of the homies. Anyway, yeah. There was a bunch of friends in that video. Always awesome to see friendly faces in there. Even saw myself in there. You know, as the editor, you have the power to insert yourself. So I did that. Took advantage of the opportunity. So, yeah, let's move forward here. One other point I should make about that video. That was our second one we worked on together. As mentioned, it was released in October 2016. At the end of that year, it went on to win an award. There was an Access television show in Austin called Magic Video, and Mirage won Local Artist of the Year 2016 with that video, They Wrong, Bruh, being the representation. So that was something that we were proud of. There's a really nice glass embossed statue that he got. Super awesome. It's always nice when the work that you do gets recognized by other parties. You know, because people don't have to take the time to watch the stuff. So when people watch it and then sincerely dig it, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. So, you know, by that rationale, Mirage and I definitely felt like we were doing the right thing. So we decided to keep the working relationship going. And we moved forward. The next video he wanted me to do, Magic Live TV. It was a track called Rollin'. This was a track that he wrote and he produced. I actually didn't realize for the longest time that he did production. So it's cool to get new aspects of people. Even people that you've known for decades, literally known for 20 years. But yeah, this is a track called Rollin'. Mirage wrote and produced it, and it was mixed by Young Nick for Dirty Politics. Excuse me. Sorry, having a little IPA here while I do the broadcast. This was released March 23rd, 2019. And when he reached out to this one, he was wanting me to do sort of segmented video. You know, that box effect. Like, he didn't quote Brady Bunch, but when I think of stuff that is boxed out, I think of Brady Bunch as a easy frame of reference. And then, if you're not boring, you get a little more artistic with it. So this was something I'd never done as an editor. And yeah, I looked at it as a really awesome challenge. I actually got excited when he reached out to me about it. So I guess that's really all I could do to set it up. Let's move forward with rolling.
Tell 'em, Mud.
Alright,
Say what?
alright,
Let's go.
alright,
MS Profound.
alright.
Greetings and salutations. Hello, how are you? You know how it is.
Little quick interjection. This is some super crisp video that he got. All the stuff where he's rocking the Prairie View jacket looks dope. The stuff outside of Good Records looks awesome. A lot of stuff that they got on the bridge. Everything looks super duper crisp to this video. I was gonna put some sort of finished look over the top of it, but it just looks so good with that photographic, that like just out of the camera look. I didn't really do a whole lot of post color timing. I left a lot of the stuff the way that it looked as is. So yeah, let's keep it moving.
You know how I do. I got no limits. I keep it true. Valleys I've gone down, mountains I've climbed a few, but that made me. And I'm so thankful I wouldn't change nothing. I'm so grateful. Mirage The GR8, the name well earned. MCs is flammable, I handle them, they all burn. I'm sustaining, maintaining, act the fool like I never had no home training. We talking money, I need commas to the left. If you talking less, man, I'm really not impressed. Listen, what the grind worth, what my time worth. Give me the tools, let me see what my mind birth. Adapt, adjust my maneuvers, I'm back on that manure. I siphon out the content to feed my consumer. Keep it and drive with my foot on the gas. On the gas. Left lane, no signal when I pass. When I pass. Hell no, won't stop, won't pause. Pause.
One other thing I really enjoyed about this video, specifically his performances, were some of the synchronicities. You know, us MCs tend to fall into our pocket tendencies when it comes to performing. So stuff like when he pointed at his watch in multiple takes and made the lyrical reference where he layered that, it really drives those lines home. You know, there's just a lot of stuff where he'll do something and he'll do it in multiple takes. So whenever I could, I tried to box things out and synchronize those takes.
Won't divide my time if you ain't trying to add on. No time to lose, I gotta mash on. I'm on a mission, there's no option to pass on. I took my technique and perfected. Got mobile with the movement and collected. Props major and hate more. I'm on that elevation, yeah, the top floor. Understand about the brand, it's jumbo. Me falling off, I block it like my tumble. Even when I'm being vain, I'm still humble. Crack a smile in the middle of my struggle. It's just a means to an end, man. I lead myself, I don't follow no trends, man. Do this in spite of, and in light of. Life ain't Facebook, don't care if you don't like us. Need that ciabatta, yeah, a whole lot of pusher of content, seller of product. My life boring, I just hustle and strive and make myself some kind of happy if I wake up alive and I'm keep it and drive with my foot on the gas. Left lane, no signal when I pass. Hell no, won't stop, won't pause. Won't divide my time if you ain't trying to add on. No time to lose, I gotta mash on. I'm on the mission, there's no option to pass on.
Alright.
Yeah, made our first live mistake. Let's hear it one time from Mirage. And we'll make sure to remind them of who made the mistake.
Chief and the Doomsday device.
Yeah, man, that beat is super duper smooth. That's one of my favorite Mirage productions, for sure. Once I found out that he was making beats, I was like, yeah, this is a super laid back dude. That's the homie, you know, birds of a feather. So it makes sense that he would make a super duper chilled out beat like that. But let's move forward to perhaps the strangest video that we made together, but one of the most fun. When he told me what he wanted to do, the video that he referenced, that he wanted to sort of make it in the same vein as, is a personal all-time favorite music video of mine. So the video that he wanted to style this track after, this track is called The Great, by the way. Produced by Trill Gates. But what he wanted to do was make this like Ghostface Killer, Daytona 5000. I don't know who all seen that video, but that video is Ghost, Raekwon, and Capadonna, I believe is the lineup. But they're rapping over Speed Racer footage. It's just a ton of Speed Racer footage cut up. So Mirage wanted to do something like that. And the cartoon that he brought to the table was one that I'd never heard of, but it ended up being really fun cutting it all up. It was a cartoon called Brave Star. It was produced by Filmation and Group W Productions. Ran from September of 1987 to February of 1988. So basically, I just found as much Brave Star footage as I could. Found enough stuff to try to sync up with the lyrics enough to be believable. Found some footage to sort of lightly punctuate what he was rapping about. And then just sort of add like some general archetypical backstory type stuff. You know, essentially what you're trying to do is flesh out a little story. Mini movie in 3 minutes or so. So that's what I did here. Those are my 3 lines of thought. So yeah, let's take a look at this one. This is Mirage the Great. The Great.
The Great. Profound. Lyrically, I ain't equivalent, you ambivalent, insignificant, I shouldn't even mention it. You don't wanna mix with the skill that I spit with, you might get your shit split, I'm genius, you nitwit. This is hip-hop, the culture, not just the music. Should open a shelter the way that y'all abuse it. Spitter, get her and a few other things. Real recognize the same, and you looking kinda strange. It ain't where you from, it's where your heart at. The whole goal not to finish where you start at. I spit bars with emotion of Billie Holiday. Why y'all have no style, spit any kind of way. This the attention to detail, more about the art than retail, when the heart can prevail. I'm no sucker, I be putting it down. My name ring bells in and out of the town. I got handles on hip-hop, plus I'm on my pivot. I spit acidic, passion implicit. Change the narrative, rewrite the storyline. This the butter to your whack-ass corny lines. I am dominant, they don't sound confident. Flow milky, but I'm lactose intolerant. Can never see me or be me, cause I'm one-on-one. And since I don't have a son, won't be another one. Don't attempt it, you'll come up short. Change the whole mission, pull back aboard. Props to the 512 and the 214 and the 404 plus the 503. I'll be all over the place, spreading the movement. As dope as this sound now, I'll improve it. Why you thinking this a game? I ain't playing at all. Listen more than I speak, I ain't saying it all. Ain't much for certain, but I'ma put this work in. She say it's sexy sweat stains on my shirt, a dream in my heart to give the world my art. How it finish don't depend on how it start. The shit that I believe come through when I speak. Put that good out in the universe, it come back to me. Just saying what I see and talking what I know. My ancestors planted seeds, now they gotta grow. The odds be against me, I don't believe it simply. Same swag on me in a Jetta or a Bentley, the great.
Let's hear it one time for Mirage the Great. Let's hear it for Brave Star. We've got one more music video to go through, and then we're going to watch a documentary. So this last music video, in my opinion, oh wait, I'm realizing now that I'm missing a music video. So one day, oh no, I just skipped it on the list. We got 2 more music videos to go. This music video is a track called Level Up. Features Mirage the Great, Terrence Wood, aka Side Effect, and Chip Lurkin. All 3 of these cats represented different cities, so what we wanted to do was sort of give each one its own flavor. You know, this was released in March 28th of 2020, so things hadn't really hit with our new world yet as he was doing the production on this. It released like 2 weeks after lockdown started, but when he made this, everything was getting weird, but we didn't really have a game plan yet. But let's not get into all that. Let's just stick with the music video. This one was cool because I was looking for something sort of extra to do, and I decided to go with a sort of 70s spy film, French New Wave, 50s, 60s aesthetic, Italian aesthetic, where I would do freezes, really heavy color tints, push-ins, and just tried to get sort of artistic with still images. And then, you know, from there it was just cut it, freak it, take what you got and make the best that you can out of it. So I think, you know, considering that the production on this was sort of strained, it came out all right. So let's move forward. This is Level Up, featuring Side Effect and Chip Lurkin by Mirage the Great.
It's like life get worse when we try to make it better. No man is an island, still we can't come together. Crabs in a bucket when we act like hating on the next man when we ain't got the facts right. Should learn the past as a guide for the future. Read at least a book a month. Call that a booster in America. Economics, the only true freedom. Enough money, change you to a hero from a heathen. They make it seem impossible to live legal. They make it so hard for the good people. I only feel responsible to my ancestors. Being good is good, but I'm trying to be better. I don't give a damn about what they say. They never had love for me, no way. They don't care, not concerned about my well-being. It ain't what y'all showing, it's what I'm seeing. Your actions speak louder than you screaming, dawg. Your body language represents your real meaning, dawg. So transparent, see-through, translucent. Claiming comrade when you trying to stop the movement.
Level up, elevate. All legal, but we move like we pushing weight. Tend to feel and add on when we congregate. Understand what you witnessing is the great. level up, elevate, all legal but we move like we pushing weight, tend to build and add on when we congregate, understand what you witnessing is the
But you a
great.
jack of all trades but a master of none. Eat the beat like a king, then I ration the crumbs.
Quick interjection. Side Effect has such a dope rap voice. Really dig the roughness, the graveliness of his voice. Let's jump back into it.
To these bums and these peasants, watch them scatter and run. Danger's imminent, like waiting for disaster to come. Feel this heat I'm giving off, you can bask in the sun. Beat pound, sound like God smacking the drum. Flow crazy as I pass the sun, packing the gun. Busting shots at the flock right after mass is done. In the likeness of Christ, I'm a passionate one. Trying to live a righteous life, I'm still practicing some. I'm a work in progress, on the path to become a great husband to my wife, the best dad to my son. In 09, yeah, I flew over to Africa once. Some live like kings, the other half in the slum. Make you get up on your grind if you lacking the funds. Best believe I'm getting mine and I'ma laugh when I'm done. Sigh.
If there is an ideal to aim for, it should be that of the strategic warrior, the man or woman who manages difficult situations and people through deft and intelligent maneuver.
Level up, elevate, all legal but we move like we pushing weight, tend to build and add on when we congregate, understand what you witnessing is the great. Level up, elevate, all legal but we move like we pushing weight, tend to build and add on when we congregate, understand what you witnessing is the great.
It's Chip Lurk, I'm a real worker, trying to do anything in my power to make me go further. Catch me jotting these words, spitting these verbs, hold it down. This is conscious New Orleans shit you heard, better listen up. Too many goals on my mind, I'm never giving up. This for the people who be feeling stuck. When life hits you with a curveball, get in the cage, keep batting till you knock it to the curb, dog. Now that's a home run, way out the park. I'm something like a flame, niggas hype about a spark. It's not adding up, we all divided, trying to multiply, being one track minded. I be keeping it silent, but make loud moves. I won't let the system disturb my groove. That's over your head, you probably get it soon. Google got all the answers, and I got all the brooms. Sweet listeners off their feet, while rapping over tunes, stacking paper and paying all my dues. I tell them never assume that type of shit could get you blindsided. Underdog spitting, so I let them undermine it. Somebody told me it was all about the timing and to never stop grinding. So I took my stars and I realigned it. Supernova sipping champagne on some fly shit, I'm gone.
Level up, elevate, all legal but we move like we pushing weight, tend to build and add on when we congregate, understand what you witnessing is the great.
Let's hear it one time for Mirage, for Side Effect, and for Chip Lurk. Alright, yeah. So earlier I jumped the gun, said we had one more music video left. This next music video is actually the last one. By this time, Mirage and I kind of had a pretty good idea of what we were doing. We didn't really spend a whole lot of time before with specifics on the ideas. It was like we had been communicating from both sides what one another needed in order to make the best music video. So this one, I really dug everything that he provided me with footage-wise. Got a chance to sort of mess with some looks on here. I think I was working on a short film as well at the time. So I was messing with some overlays and different finished looks. And I really like how this one came out. Looks really clean to me. It's edited really nice. The song is dope. And Rex Guido, the guest verse, he's like the complete opposite in terms of Mirage when it comes to performance. You know, Mirage is very laid back, very deliberate, makes very precise actions. Rex is like just a little live ball of energy. You know, he's all over the place, has a real scattershot sort of flow, and is physicality matches that when he's moving around and when he's rapping. But anyway, we can talk about it, or I could let you check it out. So let's move to this. Out of Mind. Mirage the GR8 featuring Rex Guido. Produced by E Drums.
Out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my, out of my, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed.
Bitch better know my name. They cannot get tickets to CGM unless bitch better hold my chain. This life of money, you fake, make a young nigga fuck around and lose his brain. Hey, swerving, I'm off my lane. Hey, Henny got me insane. I started thugging, was on yin yang. Pussy in your church, I'm like, oh my dang. Too much or something made my mind change. Now I be kicking these socks in the strip and shit. Niggas, they offer that top white cane. Basically, my diamonds, they all miss them. I'm in us and they worship, they like right chain. Power and money make so much change. Now that I'm popping, they speak my name. Whoa, I start folding the hip, she start speaking that shit. Whoa. Dame tu lengua, ya sabes, me gusta that shit. Whoa, que turn cuckoo, that coochie is voodoo, that bitch. Whoa, my mind playing these tricks, see me leaning that whip. Yeah,
out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my, out of my, out of my, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Fuck you and your rules and your hating too. Won't invest in that bullshit you take me through. Stay around, you on the ground.
Real quick interjection. I wanted to do something with the sky that was kind of crazy. Originally my idea, I had it keyed out a little bit, and then I had it looking like a sort of television screen. Actually, that blue screen with the purple line you see that I'm using. You know, don't sue me, I reuse a lot of my assets. But I had that going in the back in the sky, and I thought it was kind of dope. I don't think Mirage was feeling it the way I was feeling it. Ultimately, it's his video. He gets final say. So, I'll throw it in another video. But I did like the way that the sky looked keyed out. Really sort of gave this cutout effect to all the buildings and them when they would hit the sky. So I left that in there. Let's go ahead and move right back into the video.
On the ground. To keep playing, we gon' lay your ass down, B. I'm OG, Chief and OG. You phony, not the homie. See, I was raised on UGK, no hoe ass niggas ride. I ain't me, you wanna be, you out here fantasizing. I pop up on them, they never prepared. The world is going crazy, but I'm already there. Out my mind, but I ain't out of time. Thus I'm on my grind, yes I'm still on my grind. Out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed. Out of my, out of my, out of my, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head. I'm going in, I'm going in, I'm going fed, I'm going fed.
Yo, what up? Big shout out to Pool Boy Blue. Thank you for tuning in. Got so excited to give you a shout out, I forgot to do my mouth animation there. But yeah, we're moving right along here. So, that marked the end of the music video collection that Mirage and I worked on. That was a grand total of 6 music videos. Won't say that those are going to be the last ones I work with them on, but for the time being, those are the 6 that we have in the bag. But that led to a really cool project. Personally, I think that this project here was a nice culmination of events, a nice way to punctuate that particular span of time. And that is the July 2020 release of The Rhythm Still Plays. That particular year marked 20 years since Mirage dropped his project. It was called Life is a Rhythm, and it was an EP dropped on Good Vibe Records. Part of the Melodic Science Music Group. Worked on that with T-Double. And I remember that dropping back in the day. I was just sort of discovering underground hip-hop and really getting into it. I also discovered the local scene at that time. Knew a Mirage for a couple years. Knew a T-Double. So to see them dropping records on a record label where cats like Medusa were dropping records, Declaim, I believe. They had a few different people on that label. They'll go into it in the documentary. But it was really interesting to see that go down. And then to hear him talk about it 20 years and sort of just reflect on the whole what is it called? Whenever you process. That's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, enough of me talking. Let's move into this documentary. I may pause every once in a while to interject my thoughts, let you know who people are. But I'll try to let it play for the most part. I like it as is, uninterrupted. So here we go. The Rhythm Still Plays. A retrospective focusing on 20 years of Life is a Rhythm.
I remember telling my father, Dad, I got a record, man. I got a record. Because of course, I had gone through his record collection, which I probably have about 40 or 50 of his records right now that he can't find. His vinyl. But and then he telling him, Dad, I have a record. I remember my dad, like, really stopping and saying, like, you doing this for real. He took it. He said, I came in the house and he said, man, there's something there on the bed for you. And he followed me back to my room when I saw the record, and he was standing like right behind me in the doorway. He was like, man, that's really nice.
Show me where the bag's at, press up the vinyl quick. It's down to 2 finalists. Me and Mirage were one of the twins out reclaiming it. A scroll in one hand, a mic in the other. I might smother a whole block if I need be. My flow is pure gold, no other can defeat me. Swords and daggers in English, tongues and words. Last chance before I jump, quickly I spun the verb. A 50-city tour discuss distrust amongst the dissect traders. Pull out their guts, jabs, and uppercuts.
My style remain uncouth. Got the pudding and the proof. I'm living my life in sound booths. So I work harder, I work smarter. MCs best get used to rejection like telemarketers. I motivate my team to do amazing things. MCs that used to be hardcore, now choose to sing. Been doing this for years and I won't drop. Got love for this hip hop. It won't stop. Make a run for the border. My tolerance is getting shorter. Man, I'm terrifying like the new world.
I just had to jump in because they're not in the documentary, but the 2 guys on the left. Big shout out to Dave Mecca. Big shout out to the homeboy Scooter. Both members of Hip Hop Mecca. Used to bring a whole bunch of dope shows into Austin. Saw a lot of ill hip hop artists perform live because of them.
Order, follow me now, star, cause I'm a bad man, and you getting props just ain't part of the plan.
Hit you so many times around, you think you surrounded.
Yes, this is your man Mirage the Great, and this is the 20-year anniversary of this project, my first project, Life is a Rhythm. Let's talk about it. This basically came about from a partnership that I had with T-Double. So me and T-Double, we actually have known each other since junior high school, since Keeling Junior High School. So we always kind of had a relationship, and we were both kind of prominent on the east side of 35 as far as hip hop, you know, and rap.
He was doing something that was different. It didn't sound like everybody else's stuff, which was a breath of fresh air because...
One thing that was really interesting about putting this documentary together was taking a whole bunch of different footage from a bunch of different mediums. You know, cameras, DSLR cameras, phones, other recording devices, and trying to make everything match in terms of audio and sound. I know I could do better, but I think in terms of the time we worked with, not dragging this out too long, and the resources that we had available, I think I did a pretty decent job putting everything together and making it sound the way it sounds, as well as look the way it looks. But enough patting myself on the back. Let's continue.
Everybody wanted to sound the same, and it's kind of like today, how everybody just wants to sound the same. So I kind of always looked towards something that was a little bit different, that sounded different. And at the time, that's what Mirage gave us here in Austin.
I first met Mirage back in the mid-90s at University of Texas radio station KVRX. A bunch of us used to hang out up there.
Make a huge shout out to the homeboy Nick Nack.
Probably at the House of Fat Beats radio show with Les and Carrie. A bunch of us used to hang out up there, and I recall Mirage and T-Double, Babu, a bunch of amazing local Austin MCs. So that's probably where I first met Mirage, was up there.
Not exactly sure when I first met Mirage, but I'm thinking it was probably around the before I was actually hosting the Dollar Hollis show. I first bumped into him down there because they used to let local MCs come up there and play their music, freestyle, and it just was kind of a meeting point for all those that were in the hip hop scene, whether it was the DJs or it was the MCs or it was even the B-boys. Sometimes they would hang out there.
So when I came home, I just told T that I wanted to just record a song.
Well, when we made Liar, Mirage basically had the record that he wanted to use, and he brought it over to the studio, and I think we made the beat at my boy Mike Solis's house. He goes by 8-Track. And we did it on an EPS, I believe, 16 plus.
Back then, if you were recording quote unquote professionally, you wouldn't just record to your cassette tape. This is the era we're talking about. We're talking about 96. So the other thing that you could record on was called an ADAT tape. And the ADAT tape, these things were like $20, $30 a piece. And I think you had maybe 20, 30 minutes on them, maybe 60 minutes. And they looked like VHS tapes, but they were ADAT tapes, and they recorded, high quality audio. So, of course, me and T were on a budget. So we had one ADAT tape. So we recorded both of our songs on this one ADAT tape, right?
And Mirage already had the idea of how he wanted the record to go.
So, I haven't had many major issues in terms of productions. I'll probably be doing a video soon here where I'll go over my short films. And on one of my short films, I had a major production issue there. This was the only other production issue that I really had. While I liked the T-Double interview, the reason that it looks the way it does was because I had an issue with the sync. We got the video interview from him, and the audio was usable, but the video was not usable. The video was out of sync, and it was doing this thing where it would go fast, then it would go slow, and it would go fast, and it would go slow, and it was just recorded like that, where it was all messed up. And I tried my best to mess with it, pick out stuff where it was video and audio, but then you were losing the context of what he was saying. And T is not a kind of guy to waste words. If he's saying something, it's important. So I didn't really want to like jeopardize or cheapen his interview. So rather than cut short his content, I tried to find an alternative way to present it. So we hit him with the audio file, found some footage of him that he had recorded working in the lab, figured that works good enough. So everybody dug it, considering the limitations. Nobody really asked, hey, why is T-Double's interview this way? So, you know, win-win considering the situation.
Which parts of the chop to be where. And my job during that session was basically just to sequence it and put the drums under it and basically be the Marley Marl of it and, you know, get it knocking.
Liar was a song that I'd actually had written probably about a month.
Sorry, I know I said I was going to make the interjections minimal. This tape right here, this isn't Liar, but it has his original version of the song Liar. This is actually my cassette tape. This is one of the first times I heard Mirage. I bought this at Alien Records back in Austin. I put it on the scanner and copied it specifically for this documentary. So when I shared this with Mirage, he was tripping because he told me he doesn't even have a copy of this. So I thought that was kind of cool. You know, he came up to me, reaching out to help him tell part of his story, part of the past. And I had pieces of the past that he doesn't even have. So I thought that was kind of awesome. Wanted to share that moment.
Prior to recording it. When I had come home in the summer of 1995 for my sophomore year at Prairie View A&M University, I went to T, and I knew that T-Double was somebody that knew how to kind of put my musical ideas, because I saw him kind of work a keyboard and make beats and such, but he didn't really have his own equipment just yet. So we went and we ended up making a beat, and I had brought him a copy of the sample that we had used for the Roy Air sample, a red, black, and green, and we went ahead and he laid my musical idea down, and I'll never forget, we actually recorded it at a car lot. It's a car lot right there in Round Rock, Texas, about 15 miles up the road from Austin, and we recorded it in the back room of a car lot.
That was basically me getting with DJ Crash here in Austin, going to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, where a cat named Jay Sycamore worked, and he had a little studio in the back. And I used DJ Crash's ASR 10 to basically make Lost Scriptures and a lot of those early tracks back there, because I didn't have an ASR 10 myself. So I had to use his to really put that track together, and, as they say, the rest is history. That's how we set it off.
They were like the last people that would come through, man. I thought it made beats for everybody else.
This was another funny situation. Big shout out to DJ Crash. This is actually somebody I've known a long time. As well as covering my short films, I might be letting the cat out the bag here, but one thing I want to do before the year is out is complete a documentary telling my musical story. And at the very, very beginning of this story, DJ Crash is definitely a part of that. When I was kicking it with DKC, kicking it with the Five Finger Record guys, DJ Crash was a part of that collective. So I got to know him separate from Mirage, T-Double, and all them. But yeah, he did the vertical video thing. He hit me with the TikTok video. So I had to do like what I saw on YouTube and spread the video out and blur it in the back. It's presentable. It looks cool. But I wish he would have hit us with the horizontal video. That's just me being picky, though.
Here they come. Keep my ass up all night, making tracks. But we had fun making them, and I'm glad we did, and I'm glad it made history. This is the actual board that made it. Made the hits and made a bunch of hits.
Big shouts to DJ Crash. We actually used his ASR to import the beat to record it, because the guy, he had set up a whole studio right there in this car lot.
He already had the concept of the record, basically the whole album. The lyrics were already in place, of the lyrics he wanted to do to it. So it was really just piecing it together, and it made a classic. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like Austin's first Tribe Called Quest Midnight Marauders type of record. You know what I'm saying? It was real dope. It was a great experience.
Me and T, we recorded the songs, and so by the time we decided that we were gonna put it out, we did it as an A and a B side of a cassette tape. I really wish I had a copy of that. But it was a song, Liar by me, Life is a Rhythm, and Lost Scriptures by T Double. And his song was on the A side, my song was on the B side, and they both started getting a lot of burn locally.
T and Mirage would bring that song up to KVRX, and we would play it, and it was a heater.
And so he says, well, man, listen, instead of just recording a song, why don't we actually go ahead and start a label? And that birthed what you now know as Kinetic Entertainment. So it turns out that year of 97, after it had kind of bubbled locally, T went out to California with something that was called the Gavin Conference.
Gavin is a college music journal, and they throw a conference every year, and it's usually, I believe, at the beginning of the fall semester.
Well, going to the Gavin was the top urban conference there was. If you was into hip hop, you went to the Gavin. So I worked for South by Southwest doing all the hip hop. I was a hip hop coordinator. And Gavin came around, so all the DJs at KVRX, the college station here, they pulled their money together, resources, and bought a bunch of tickets to go to San Diego to the Gavin conference. I didn't have any money really at that time, so DJ Mike Swain fronted me like I think $100 to go out there, get a plane ticket, go out there and be with everybody else.
So anyways, a bunch of us went up there, T-Double included, myself, Mike Swain, a bunch of us from KVRX from University of Texas, and shout out X-Man, who was another one that went with us.
So I was going out there basically to represent South by Southwest, but once I got there and saw the opportunities, with me being an artist, I said, well, I could tap into this and see what I can make for this, for a T-Double opportunity.
Ty Campbell, I think was his name, from Red Ant Records. He was the one who brought Xavier, X-Man, and I out, and I think maybe Mike Swain as well, flew us out there to San Diego. His label was putting on a luncheon at a Mexican restaurant in downtown San Diego somewhere.
So went out there on the last day of the conference. They was having a party at a taco place. All the DJs went there. I was feeling kind of sick and it was raining, so I didn't want to go, but they told me go ahead and go.
Anyways, we all showed up there, and I just remember seeing LP from Company Flow, Rascass, there were some heavy hitters in the building, and T was rolling with us, T-Double, and there was a bunch of cats at one point during the lunch where there was like an open mic or a freestyle, and I remember T got up there. Again, he was kind of patient and waited his turn, but
went there. A lot of rappers were freestyling. I stood up, did my thing, represented Austin, as I always do.
Man, he got up there and just ripped it. I mean, holy shit, we were all like, I think he even gave some shout outs to Austin, and we were like on the sidelines all super hyped, and I think kind of right after that, or maybe during that or before it, I can't remember exactly, but I had introduced T to my man Matt Panda One from Animal Farm, and he had just started a new record label called Good Vibe, and they released their first album, I think it was called Pharmaceuticals, on that label. And so I remember making that introduction to between T and Matt, and I just remember, this, after hearing T rip it on the mic, thinking, man, people are going to be hitting up T, because there were some people who were taking notes in that audience.
And so these guys from a label out of LA called Good Vibe Records were very interested in his freestyle. I was at school, of course. I couldn't go to the conference. I was at Prairie View.
Matt Kahane, who owned Good Vibe Recordings, and he said that he dug how I was spitting. and asked if I wanted to make a record. Also at the time, I was working for Arista Records here in Austin. You know, they had Bad Boy, LaFace, Clive Davis. We had an Austin office, so I was doing marketing and A&R. So I knew more about the music business than just handing off a demo. So I told them I would love to make a record if I can own the master and the publishing. And they was like, damn, you know, who taught you that? And I'm like, you know, I'm not like your everyday rapper. I said, I want to have a label deal. I don't want to be an artist, because with a label deal, I can come back and sign artists and give artists opportunities like Mirage. So they said, cool. So I said, send me a package about everything you've done for your artists, and I'll decide if you're the right place for me. I basically made them send me a demo. So they did that. It looked cool.
So from that interest, he sent that one ADAT tape that we had, or that he had of some of his music, you know, the more professional stuff, which was actually kind of risky because, you know, like what if something happened to the tape? You couldn't just fly files like you have with internet now. So in any case, they heard his song and then they said, well, what is this other song? Who is this other guy? He was like, oh, that's my partner, that's Mirage. I just went by Mirage at that point. And so they started to take interest in the song Liar, and that kind of started the next chapter of how we started to push, or how the album came about and how it developed.
So that's how that deal came about. And in the process of making that deal, when they heard my demo, at the end of my demo, we had Life is a Rhythm, the demo by Mirage. That was on the end of my DAT tape. So they heard that and said, hey, would your boy like to make an album too? So I called Mirage. He was at Prairie View at the time, and I said, hey, let's make a record. You want to make a record? He was like, yeah, let's make it.
I get a call from T-Double. I'm in my dorm room at Prairie View A&M. He says there's a label in California that's interested in us. They're called Good Vibe Records. I said, okay. So he gave me the phone number to call, and I called the guy, Matt Kaheen, who's running the label, and decided he was the one that really wanted to sign us. And we're talking, and I give him my address, and he sends me a lot of their product, and I'm looking at the artists on the label. And the internet was a new thing, so I did a little bit of research on them. And then they started to send me different product, you know, of their artists and such. They were actually sending it to my college P.O. box. And it looked, you know, the product look, it was professional, and you know, there was a lot of interest in the artists that they had. They had LA stalwarts like Medusa and Spontaneous, and Declaim, and The Anonymous, and of course he had Animal Farm, which were, you know, including my guy Matt Kaheen that eventually signed us. He was one of the guys that ran the label.
That's about halfway through the documentary. I think rather than show, you know what, actually, I was going to cut it, but let's go ahead and run the rest of the documentary. I don't want to be that guy that gets you going, gets you all built up, and then snatches the rug out from under you. So we got about 13 minutes left on the documentary. While I am talking, I will state that I'm also probably going to do an impromptu DJ set after this. Take a quick break, see where we're at time-wise, and then move forward from there. So yeah, if you're tuned in, you know, don't go too far. Might be spinning a few tunes afterwards. Messed around, got a new camera set up. So yeah, I want to test it out for just a little bit maybe. Anyway, we're hitting the home stretch. Let's jump back into this documentary.
So I remember actually getting the contract while I was at Prairie View A&M.
So I negotiated his deal basically to be the same as mine, where he owns the publishing, he owns the masters, he owns the artwork, he owns 100% of that record.
Yeah, I was really kind of worried about if our music was going to be able to fit in, and it turned out that it did. But the main part was that they didn't want us to change our sound. They kind of wanted exactly what we gave them. They just took it, maybe added some cuts and such. Props to DJ Drez, Dr. Easy, you know what I mean, for putting the cuts on my track. But in any case, they gave us the artistic freedom that I thought we wanted.
That basically came from me doing the Lost Scriptures record. We had already did Lost Scriptures and Life is a Rhythm as a cassette that we was moving here in Austin. We had already had those records done. So it just took it to a whole nother level. And then, you know, Mirage was able to put out his record, and he eventually went on to do melodic science and do all the beautiful things that he's done.
Labels back in the 90s were really, it was almost like the crew that you wanted to be a part of, because records and the whole experience with records, like sometimes you would just buy it because the record label looked good. And so really what I summed it up and what me and my crew, my college guys, that I was really, kind of discussing and running this by, that we really saw them as a West Coast version of Rockers. And Rockers was really, really well respected in the underground circles that we were in, basically because of Company Flow. We all had a lot of respect for the underground cast, Company Flow. And then of course, later Mos and Talib and, everybody that was on Rockers. So we figured, this was really cool that a West Coast affiliate, or a West Coast label would want to deal with some guys from Texas. So it turns out that, we were going to be part of a wave that Good Vibe was starting, as far as like trying to push their label and their hip hop across the country.
They had a record deal. Him and T-Dub, they were actually on vinyl. They had, and that's what DJs used, and that's what we had to have in order to play back then. We had to have it on wax.
I see you, Cool Boy Blue.
He made something beautiful on wax. It was like poetry on vinyl. It was great.
When I made that intro to Panda One, I had no doubt that they were going to link and do something great. And so when I first saw, or heard that it was coming out on vinyl, I was super stoked, to see some of the homies, amazing talent from Austin, Texas, and Mirage and T-Double putting stuff out. So on a national level, worldwide level. I mean, Good Vibe. And the sort of when the Liar EP came out, Good Vibe was just on the rise, putting out Mystics, Slum Village, lots of stuff like that. So was really, really stoked to see the Austin homies getting shine on a worldwide level.
The build-up was kind of, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, because Good Vibe was going through some distribution issues where they had a thing with New Groove. They was working on something with Interscope, and they had something else possibly with Def Jam. So everybody was kind of in a hold pattern to wait to see what was going on with that. But they still released Mirage's record. They still did like promo vinyl. They still got it out to DJs. They still did what they could do with what they had.
At the time, labels would put out 2 or 3 or maybe 4 projects at a time as kind of what they're pushing for the quarter, and they will send that to the DJs, right? So my wave, I was in it with Bahamadia, Spontaneous, and these guys out of Detroit called Slum Village. Had a producer named Jay Dilla, right? So my record is the last record in this box. You got your 2 Bahamadias, you got 2 Spontaneous records, for the DJs to cut back and forth. Two things about Slum, and then my record, right? Which, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, because I majored in marketing when I was at Prairie View. So I was actually kind of, like I said, in the sales force at Dell. So I said, let me kind of take advantage of this, you know what I mean? Because I knew Bahamadia from her previous work, and then she was releasing independent music. And then I knew that Slum, I knew this guy JD was the guy that was producing with, one of my favorite MCs ever, Q-Tip, as part of the UMA. So I was like, okay, let me take advantage of this. So anybody that I could find online that did college radio, or that had a podcast or some type of thing that was going on internet, I would send them an email. Hey, you getting serviced by Good Vibe? I would kind of submit that information to the label, and then they would start getting records. Hence, the relationship started. So that was kind of also, they were very. I
wanted to jump in and mention that I actually did that during this time. I was working at KTSW at SWT, Southwest Texas State. Now it's known as Texas State. But I had a hip-hop radio show at that time. And working with Mirage, I got the station his records as well as the other records they mentioned. And it also opened up their working relationship with Good Vibe. So unfortunately, I didn't personally get a copy of that record, but I did get some good vibe stuff through them. I think I got that Spontaneous, if I remember correctly. Wish I would have got that Slum Village. But interesting to hear him talk about stuff where I was working on that, and on the other side of that as well as a DJ and a radio personality.
Benevolent to actually send me 50 boxes or 30 boxes, full of, 30 or 40 copies of my record to kind of hold me over for a month, because they had kind of moved on, but they would still send me the product to either, maybe sell if I wanted to, it was really hard selling records because DJs wouldn't buy them, so I would just make sure that they got it. It got me on mixtape. It was a very dope experience, and I learned so much from that part of it. Yeah, the whole Good Vibe experience, like I really enjoyed actually going to the post office and mailing those records and locally giving them to DJs. I've given them to people like Cool Herc, Africa Bambaataa probably has my record somewhere in his lexicon of records. Jazzy Jeff I gave it to, and of course a lot of DJs in LA because the label of course is there. So I was basically a one-man promo team, and I was everywhere with a backpack with a large across-the-shoulder strap with just my records. And if you were any DJ of credit or merit, you were probably gonna get one of my EPs on 12-inch. You know what I mean?
I think the record, if the deal would have went through with Def Jam, then Mirage would have came out on Def Jam, and it would have had a bigger push and a bigger thing going on. But the record still came out, it still made an impact, it was still on charts, it was still doing everything that it needed to do to solidify him as a respectable independent artist from Texas, from Austin especially.
That song and EP played a key role, I think, in spreading the word about Austin hip hop and actually showing Austin MCs, producers, DJs, artists in general that you're not limited, just to Texas or Austin. That project was broke down boundaries across the world, So that's how I think that project played a role in the growth of Austin hip hop. I think it continued to push the boundaries and provide an example to cats on what is possible.
Hip hop brings a lot of people together. So just through the love of hip hop, the culture, we just, I guess we started a lineage from there, and not knowing that one day I would take over the Dollar Holler show from Les and would be the one to premiere the Life is a Rhythm album to the masses right on 91.7. So what they say, sometimes they put people in your paths for certain reasons, and I'm sure that those paths that we crossed way back in the 90s was leading up to helping Life is a Rhythm, get spread out into the ears of the masses in Austin.
I remember that album being real soulful but very lyrical. At the 90s, it was I think it was a little different than it is now. All the MCs it was who could rap the best, battling, rhyming, and things like that. But what was different about Liar was that Mirage's album was real soulful and funky. Like, it always reminded me kind of like of Camp-Lo and how they use those samples. Because I remember Mirage and T-Double rapped over a beat done by Knick Knack where he used a sample from Earl Clue. And I remember I was like, God, I wish you guys would put that record on. They used to play it on the air every once in a while. It was special, it was cool. But back to Mirage's album, it was soulful, it was fun, it was different. It was completely different than what was coming out at the time. From the East Coast, West Coast, rivalry, battle, all that other stuff. It carved its own niche within the area. It was very, very different.
Yeah, they had my ass in there mixing and everything, trying to get this record to go, and I didn't know if it was gonna go anywhere, and it did. So I'm very happy to know that, man, that the music didn't just sit on someone's shelf and collect dust.
And when I first heard the EP, of course I thought it was dope because we took time to make it, and we took time to make sure that it was recorded right. And I believe most of those songs were recorded to 2-inch tape at some studio. I don't remember, but at 2-inch tape. And Mirage had all the ideas for the beats, all the ideas of where he wanted his samples to go, where he wanted his cuts to go, where he wanted everything to fit. And I was just basically the guy just to gel it and put it together and give that little extra funk, that little extra swing a little bit. But it was really all of Mirage's vision. You know what I mean? I was just happy to help a friend of mine that I grew up with be able to get a deal and put a record out and achieve his dream as I achieved my dream. I think that when you're blessed with an opportunity, you got to share that opportunity. You can't be selfish. You can't say, I got a deal, now everybody watch me shine. You got to say, I got a deal, now my man can get one. Mirage got put on. He started working with other artists like Icon and other people, you know, making other situations happen. That's how it's supposed to go down.
Yeah, so, you know, we got a real good response, you know what I mean? A lot of people tell me that they think that the cover is really classic. And this came about basically because they asked me, they were like, well, what are you seeing for a cover for? And I said, well, basically, if you were to play whatever was what you thought was the dopest song off of this, what would the party or what would the club or wherever you was at look like while you were playing that? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the cover came about. A lot of people say it kind of reminded them of, like, you know, the Good Times. You know, like you're drunk with the Good Times cover, right? So that's that. You know, the back, you know, again, I mentioned my brother. You know, that's me and my baby brother there when he was a young man. I'm even tripping on some of the people that I'm thinking here. You know, House of Fat Beats, Dollar Holla Show, the B-Side Radio Show, big up the Knickknacks, Pep over at KZI, you know, everybody that I thanked in Austin, you know, executive produced by Matt Kaheen, Chris Nagy, Cliff Feeman, and myself, Mirage. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what that is. Thank you. If you have a copy of this, if you have a white label, if you've ever played it, if you've ever even liked any other the new retro poster we have, you know what I'm saying, that I'm putting up about this, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't listened to it, you definitely need to go listen to it. This is actually Austin hip hop history right here, you understand? Like, no doubt about it. This project is probably one of the first time that a lot of people heard of hip hop from Austin, or when they came to Austin, this was something that they respected. This is 20 years old, you know what I mean? And I've personally gotten responses from as far away from Sweden, Australia, England, I remember Japan, Canada, a lot of people. I actually had somebody that came down and interviewed me about this from Canada. The stickers were all over Austin. If you have those stories, please leave them in the comments. My name is Mirage, and this is the 20th anniversary of Life is a Rhythm, Liar, by myself. Peace.
Just wanted to make sure I gave his websites a chance to be seen there. Yeah, that's Life is a Rhythm. The 20-year retrospective of, sorry, I messed up the name. That's The Rhythm Still Plays. The 20-year retrospective of Life is a Rhythm. It was really an honor to be a part of making that particular project. I dug it. Had a fantastic time making it. Had a fantastic time editing it. And just learning a little bit about Austin hip-hop history. So that being said, thank you for everybody to tuning in to tonight's Twitch stream. I'm getting a little tongue-tied. So as far as long-form talking, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I am feeling, though, a little inspired. I got the DJ set up out.
Chief and the Doomsday device.
So I think I'm going to do a little impromptu DJ set in a little bit here. Give myself about a 15-20 minute break. So if you're already following the channel, you'll get a notification hopefully. If you're not following and you happen to be tuned in, go on ahead and follow. And you'll get notified whenever I do the DJ set. My next DJ set is going to be Sunday. I'm scheduled to be here Wednesday nights Currently at 8 o'clock, but I think I might move it to 7 o'clock. Stay tuned to the channel and we'll see. And I'm also going to do a Sunday brunch set every Sunday around 1-ish or so. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in to Chief Doomsday on Twitch. Check out the homie Poolboy Blue. That's POOLBOIBLU. No E's. And, yeah, he does some dope stuff on Twitch as well. Always has some really nice DJ sets. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. If you come back later for the DJ set, I'll see you then. Otherwise, have a great night.